How do you do? Allow me to introduce myself.
I am the last sane sports fan.
I am a genius by trade.
I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Possibly.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of The View from the Midwest. I got a couple bits of feedback on the last one, so I'm going to try to keep this one a little bit shorter. We're going to come at you hard and fast like Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris?
In today's episode, I'm going to talk a little bit about the St. Louis Blues. It's something that I wanted to get to in the last one, but obviously at 17 minutes, it was running a little bit long for YouTube, so I had to cut that out. Right now, the Blues are 1-2, so obviously not the start they wanted to get out to, not the start that the fans had hoped for, but it's still early in the season, still a lot of hockey left to be played. The big point so far has been they haven't really played 60 minutes worth of hockey, and that has been the problem with this team for really the last couple years, if not 3 years. And you see flashes of it right now, that they are just scary good if they could put it all together for a complete game. So far, they haven't done that. They've only managed to get one win, which was a win over Calgary. Right now, the biggest problem is we're not scoring goals. They've got 9 goals for, 9 goals against. They had that one outbreak of 5 goals it was in that win. And other than that, it's been 2 goals a game, roughly on average. They're still trying to get a feel for where they are as a team. They added a few new pieces, just enough to where you're going to have to kind of get things rolling, get things going in terms of team chemistry. But they've got to find a way to put the puck in the net because they're out shooting their teams nearly 2-1 right now. And I mean, when you're at that kind of level, 2-1, then you got to be putting the puck in the net. You got to be scoring some goals here. And they got to start scoring at a higher clip. They got to start getting more consistent performances from their Big Ten players. Like Chris Stewart scored a goal in last night's game against Dallas, and he's got to get rolling. Oshie's got to get rolling. Berglund. Right now, I mean, one of their big scorers is Jason Arnott. He's got at least a couple goals so far through the first 3 games. They didn't pick him up for scoring. They picked him up for veteran leadership. And the ones that were here in the last couple years, they're the ones that have really got to step it up and do something. On the flip side, being a former goaltender, now I never played any big-time hockey. I played mostly with my friends and stuff, but I was a goalie, so I know how the position works. I never like blaming the goaltenders, and you can ask my dad about that because we always get into argument. He always says it's the goalie's fault, and I always defend the goalies, and it's just kind of a fun little back and forth. But right now, in reality, you have to look at Yaroslav Halak being a big reason that the Blues aren't doing better than they are right now. And once again, it's only 3 games into the season. There's no panic button down here that I'm trying to push. I'm not a panic button kind of person. But it's just small little things that kind of bug you this early in the season. And Halak, he looks uncomfortable. Just something slightly off from him. You would think that he would have moved on from last year where he struggled a little bit. It's his first season in the Western Conference last year. You give him a little bit of a break, but he's got to start turning it up here. He's got to start making some big saves, and that's been the key. Is even if you allow for the occasional soft goal, you have to start making big saves, and that's been a big key so far this year. Is Halak just has not made the big saves, and that's what you need from goaltender, and that's what the Blues have run into in their few losses that they've had so far this year, is goalies making the big saves and keeping the Blues off the board, and that's what St. Louis needs from Yaroslav Halak. A big save, just come up huge, stop a breakaway, make a sliding save across the crease or something to get the momentum going for your team, something to really spark the crowd, something to get the defense just banging their sticks against the boards over on the bench, something to rally the team, something to get behind and say, hey, this guy's really figured it out now. We're going to believe in him. We're going to trust him back there. And a couple of points of contention that I have being a goaltender. Again, I say I didn't play at any major level, but I know a little bit about the position. Is like he's got to have better stick positioning, and he's got to have better glove work. It's like somebody needs to do that little exercise where you saw in the movie Miracle, where they were working with the actor that played Jim Craig. Just throw a tennis ball off a wall. Have somebody stand behind him, toss a tennis ball. He doesn't know where it's coming. It bangs off the wall. Boom, glove save. And it's just a little bit of work move that hand, move it, get it moving. Because right now it looks like he's got cement on his glove.
Clement, hands of cement.
And it just looks like he's incredibly stuck within that positioning. It's like, okay, go down in the butterfly. Here, I'm here. Make the save. Otherwise, the puck went through. And Darren Pang made the point last night, and I totally agree with it. Watching some of these goalies anymore, they don't cover the 5-hole with the stick. It's almost like the stick is just kind of a lazy appendage now. Why have a stick? If you're not going to use it, just put gloves on both hands and start making glove saves on both sides. And then if you're going to use your pads as a stick anyway to guard the 5-hole, then get rid of the stick anyway. I mean, it's kind of useless. I mean, they got to start using the lumber. Put the paddle out there, put it in position, guard that 5-hole, keep the pucks out, keep the legs closed. He's got to start closing off these holes a little bit better, because these little squeakers that are getting through that should be saves, it's getting a little bit old. I'll defend a goalie until the end. I really think he's got potential.
Well, the boy has talent.
That's another thing you got to keep in mind, that he is a young goaltender. He had a brilliant performance in Montreal, but he was only 23, 24 at the time. I think he's only 26. And in goaltender years, that's really young. Like a lot of people say, well, that should be the prime of your career, and it should be. But goalies take just a little bit longer. And once you start hitting 28, 29, 30, that's about the peak years for a goaltender. And you can move on from there. I mean, you look at Dwayne Roloson. He's 40, and he's still stopping them in between the pipes. So they just need more solid performance from Halak. He doesn't have to be spectacular, because the defense is going down, blocking shots. They're putting their bodies on the line here in the early season. But if their goaltender doesn't start helping them out a little bit too, that's going to stop. But they just need a more solid performance from their goaltender. But things are still early in the year. It's still a long time before we need to start worrying about any of this. It's just little tiny points of contention as a fan that you would like to see cleaned up a little bit. And like a couple people on my Facebook have said, if they just get 60 minutes, a solid 60 minutes out of this team, they are going to start piling up W's. So if they can just put a few more pucks in the net, keep a few more out, Halak needs to start stepping it up. But just see what happens. They need better goaltending and to score a few more goals. And one more quick thing that I wanted to point out, just as a personal thing, it's like I like watching the Blues on TV. They're going to have all 82 games on TV, and I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who are going to disagree with me, but we need more of this guy.
In the slot, shoots! Oh, baby, glove save, Brueggemann! Ha ha!
Oop, sorry, that was me. No, we need more of...
Now to Pronger, he shoots, he scores! Chris Pronger! Oh, baby!
and less of this one.
He scores! Oh, thank you! Thank you!
So that'll just about wrap it up. I've got some laundry to fold, so see you next time.
I remember